Alright, this is a video. We're going to talk more about the evidence that the millennial reign of Christ has happened. So first thing you have to understand, the CIA or Club 33, these criminals that are helping the devil deceive the nations, they have all kinds of these, I don't call them shills or agents of deceptions. We see a lot of them in the flat earth. And we see a lot of, distorted truth, these Bible scholars or whatever you want to call them. They're everywhere in all aspects of knowledge and education. This guy right here is obviously an agent of deception. Now, if you come over here to the gematria, the reason why he does not spell his name correctly like every other John we know is so that he can produce the hidden 33, because he is an agent of deception. Just like Alex Jones. How many of you know an agent of deception named Alex Jones? The reason why his name is spelled that way is to produce a hidden 33. It's to let other occult members know that he's part of the secret deceptive team. And something else that's hilarious about this name, which I don't even believe it's his real name, if you move the L to the other side of the I, it is John Evil. So I don't know if that's like an inside joke, put the L in front of the E, ha ha ha. But yes, he is an agent of deception. Now, what is his purpose as an agent of deception? Well, if you watch a lot of his videos, he comes up with this satanic deception that Tartary, or the Tartarian Empire, the core meaning of Tartarian, are savages or demon-like people. So these demon-like people created these breathtaking, immaculate structures and buildings all around the world, and then they just magically, died off or disappeared, or maybe they got killed by bow and arrows from the Indians. They just magically are no longer here. So he's going to say anything and everything except these beautiful buildings were designed or created during the millennial reign of Christ. That is his job as an agent of deception. And I would like to point out, all of these millennial reign buildings, all these pagan-like statues and all these devilish, gargoyles and all this garbage, this was put on after Yeshua and 200 million saints all left the earth. So do not be deceived by all the pagan statues. And just for some more amusement, if you go and type in, let's say, Bill Gates. How many of you know a clown named Bill Gates? Yes, he is part of Club 33. So for all the real Christians out there, you always want to investigate these kind of shady characters that promote, devilish, any kind of deception except the possibility, that Christ, Yeshua the Christ, could be involved in this. Anything and everything except for him, so yes. Now, I'm sure some of you that have investigated these breathtaking structures, you know about the St. Louis Fair. There's a video on YouTube where they try their best to make you believe, these structures were just props constructed for the World's Fair and they were just torn down and removed. I did notice as they're destroying these priceless buildings, they add wooden scaffolding to make it look like this is the construction pictures and blah blah blah. But some of these millennial reign of Christ buildings are so breathtaking. I am willing to bet if I had $100 million and I offered a construction team to go duplicate one of these incredible buildings, they would scratch their head and look at me like I was crazy. Do you have any idea how difficult it would be to construct one of these millennial reign buildings? I love this building. This building right here is so beautiful. I just cannot get over some of these masterpieces. These are glorified saints that had supernatural abilities that normal humans did not have. That's how a lot of these were constructed. I do have some very interesting knowledge about the moon, this severely damaged product. You all do understand this moon was not the original design. The Creator does not create distorted, crappy products. In the Garden of Eden, the moon would have looked perfect. So if you go to Revelation 8:12, when Armageddon took place, I'm going to say 1,400 years ago, somewhere around there, this catastrophic war, hundreds of millions of people died. If you read 8:12, it says, 1/3 of the sun was struck, 1/3 of the moon was struck, 1/3 of the stars, and they became dark. And all the translation, it points out that 1/3 of the moon will be damaged or will not shine its light correctly. And that's kind of what it actually looks like. Now, maybe during the millennial reign of Christ, he may have repaired the sun, but he did not repair the moon. This is a damaged product, and we have scriptures that seem to line up with this ugly, damaged light. Now, something else that is interesting that would be mind-blowing, how would you feel if you knew the sun that we know of all of our lives is actually producing 2/3 of the original light? 1/3 has been taken away. So you have areas of the world that could have produced or grown fig trees or palm trees or bananas or pineapples or whatever. Those regions do not or cannot produce those tropical fruits or vegetables. All right, now, I don't know if some of you have seen this video. You have to watch this video. This guy is on the same page as I am, as far as I understand. He knows there's a great deception going on. It's called Golden Age Past. The video is called How They Corrupted the Second Coming of Jesus. And what I find interesting is this, you know how they call it the Dark Ages, this 1,000-year period is where they don't really talk about it. It's just the Dark Ages. Right, okay. Now, what I do find interesting, if you go and you type in the Black Plague, how many of you remember in your history books with your cartoon animated pictures that you were indoctrinated or educated with, all those cartoon pictures? Well, remember the Black Plague? Around 200 million people died. What a cute little cover-up. And explaining where, 200 million people all just left or are no longer with us. So yes, that's definitely cute. But yes, this guy's definitely on to some good things. I've watched his video from start to finish like twice, and yes, he is right about these beautiful palaces that are like 1,000 years old that have no bathrooms, no rooms to wash up or wash their bodies. That's because if you have a glorified body, if you go to heaven and you're given a glorified body, you do not take showers, you do not use the bathroom. When you eat delicious fruits or vegetables, it turns into pure energy in your body. You do not shower because you smell. The reason why you have to shower is because there's bacteria that starts to develop under your arms and between your legs, and you start to smell. If you have a glorified body, the bacteria cannot survive on your glorified body. You don't ever have to shower. You don't ever have to use a bathroom. You can drink the most delicious wines or whatever beverages, and it just turns into pure energy. I mean, there are people in heaven that are having the time of their life, praising the King in these glorified bodies, filled with joy, unspeakable joy, and it just goes on and on. And something else that's hilarious about the Black Plague, the internet actually admits that some of these towns, there was a black mud flood. Isn't that funny? They actually say the word black, a black mud flood. All right, so we're going to go on, and I'm going to say all these ancient, devilish, pagan statues that you see in India or China and all this crap, this all was produced after the millennial reign because he would have never allowed this garbage to exist during his iron rod ruling period. And as you all know, I'm sorry to break your hearts, but the devil has been given authority to alter or supernaturally alter statues. We all know this Mandela effect is real. The thinker is no longer the thinker. We have all witnessed statues supernaturally being altered and changed. There's no doubt when Yeshua and 200 million saints left this earth and then the devil takes over, he may have been given the authority and power from the King of Heaven to supernaturally alter statues into pagan or devilish things and contaminate the millennial reign buildings, because anyone that denies it, I got some news for you. I can prove, I have plenty of evidence to prove that statues in our reality have supernaturally been altered and changed. Just like the King James Bible. I think I threw away my King James Bible because I'm just not going to tolerate it. I remember when it said, the lion shall lie with the lamb, and now it says the wolf. And believe it or not, the King James Bible actually says tires and mufflers in it. If you go and Google tires, mufflers, like King James Version, it's just complete nonsense. There's little contaminations. The scriptures were already contaminated with disrespectful words, like they took out the name of King Yah or King Yahweh and put this word God. Now, you guys do understand what this word is, right? You all do understand that God is nothing more than dog flipped around. They took out the precious name of the King of Heaven, King Yah or Yahweh, and put this word God, which just happens to be dog flipped around. They took out the precious name of Yeshua and put this word Jesus, which people that have investigated the word Jesus can affiliate it with Zeus, like Jesus, Jesus. All right? I don't care what you say to try to defend that word, but in the original translation, the Savior of the world, his name is not Jesus, okay? It is Yeshua. Or some people say, instead of saying Joshua, we say Yahshua, Yeshua. The devil and his club 33 criminals have been allowed to, I guess, add their mockery and slander or disrespect to the scriptures. They have Christians praising and worshiping on Sunday, Sun Worship Day. The real Sabbath day is on Saturday. All right, just all this mockery and slander, disrespect. Don't fall for this deceptive coins that say J and I. As you all know, the real name of the Savior of the world, his name is Yahshua. It was never J or I. So that is mockery and slander or disrespect. So do not fall for this ancient coins and all that nonsense. All this crap was created after the millennial reign. Now, what I do want to do is, I no longer say the New World Order or the Jesuit Order or the Illuminati, because what's actually happening in this world, there is, call it Club 33 members all around the world. They're like a network, and they all have one common goal. That is to help the devil deceive all nations. I believe the Jesuit order in Rome is a bunch of peon actors that are playing their role for the devil. Just like in America, they read off teleprompters and scripts and blah, blah, blah. The all-seeing eye at the top of the pyramid is the devil, and he has most likely been given authority by the King of Heaven to kill any of these people that he wants. Let's say that he wanted to kill Hillary Clinton. Well, in the spiritual realm, he would point his finger at Hillary Clinton and speak death, and in our reality, she would collapse to the ground and be pronounced dead. She would drop dead. But I do not believe that he wants any of these Club 33 members dead. He wants them to continue doing their job or role of deceiving the world. Now, a perfect example of Club 33 members, there are agencies like NASA that are dedicated to deceiving the world 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's all they do is lie and deceive. And why are they doing this? Well, it's right here. They are actually fulfilling end-time prophecy, the final prophecy. When the 1,000 years are up, Satan will be let loose from his prison and come out and deceive the nations which are at the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog. Now, this could be Russia. The real Gog and Magog could be Russia and China, because we have all been programmed our whole lives. You know, World War III involves Russia and China. It's probably going to happen on U.S. soil. Now, something else, before I show you some of these world maps, you will never get to see what a real world map looks like. The earth does have four corners. So you can see my generic little picture here. This is most likely what is happening. The King of Heaven looks down at the circle of the earth, which would be around what we call the North Pole, and there's probably a large mountain in the center of the table, or the four-cornered earth. And I do have to agree, the sun may do strange maneuvers. It may curve around one direction. It could even go through some kind of wormhole, come out the opposite direction, so the southern has a reverse effect of the sun. So there is definitely something tricky about the reality that we are living in. We can definitely all agree on one thing. If you type in ancient world maps, I don't care how old it says, it's from the 1400s, it's from 1520, blah, blah, blah. It is a globe, it is a lie, it is a deception. Most of these empires were probably just made up out of thin air. For all we know, the Tartarian Empire is a fairy tale made up empire put on a globe, an ancient globe map. Don't ever put your faith and trust in a globe map, because you're not living on a globe, and you will never get to see what a real or true world map looks like. Now, something that is hilarious about our false or fake history is you've all heard of the Mayflower Compact, and if you turn the M on its side, that is a 3, a C is a hidden 3, so we already have a hidden 33 right here. And then we have 13 colonies and 13 stripes on the flag. And then some fairy tale made up character named Christopher Columbus, CC, discovered this super awesome land. So if you really wanted to keep digging into the fake false history, I mean, you would find 33s, hidden 33s all over. Always watch for the WW. When you turn it on its side, it's a 33, the MM, the CC, and in some occasions the CK or the KC. Because K in numerology is an 11, C is a 3. You have a 311 or a 113. Alright, now I want you all to check out this theory, because no one actually knows the date when the millennial reign came to an end. But check out this theory that I have. Imagine July 4th, 1776, Yeshua the Christ and 200 million people all ascend off of the earth at the end of the millennial reign, and then the devil and his Club 33 scumbags all take over, and they create this Declaration of Independence. You know, we are officially independent from Yeshua and his iron rod ruling position. So they have hundreds of millions of people all celebrating. And how do they celebrate? With these lights that go up in the air, they ascend into the heavens, and then they explode into a million pieces. And then we all celebrate our independence. So they actually could have hundreds of millions of people mocking and disrespecting the Savior and calling it independence from Great Britain or the British stronghold. And the reason why I believe that it could be possible, because they have hundreds of millions of people celebrating with gifts and presents and beautiful trees and decorations on Nimrod's birthday. Nimrod was the Antichrist that sacrificed the pig on the altar in the temple maybe 1,500 years ago, and now he is being tortured in hell, or the lake of fire. But this is how the devil and his Club 33 scumbags operate. They deceive the masses and then sit back and laugh about it. So wouldn't that be amazing if you found out that July 4th, 1776 was actually the day when Yeshua and 200 million people all ascended into the heavens, left the earth, and they have hundreds of millions of people mocking the masses, disrespecting him. Now, something else that is interesting, and I'm sure a lot of you already know this, you always want to watch for these false ministers. Look for the diamond hand sign. Here, I'm going to put my cursor right over here, and then I'm going to lift up. See this guy right below my cursor? The obvious diamond hand sign. We have Joyce Meyer over here with the obvious diamond hand sign. And that is the best indicator of who is a secret agent, an agent of deception. Diamond equals 33. These people are like agents, and one of their main goals as far as deception is making all the masses believe that those white-skinned Europeans over there in that land that calls itself Israel, those are the real Jews. And that devilish flag, the flag of, is it Ramphan? The as above, so below, devilish satanic symbol that they call the Star of David. Oh. So they continue to promote and push that, we need to pray for Israel. We need to stand up for Israel. They are helping the devil deceive all nations. Now, before I close out the video, I want you all to check out this fascinating topic where people are starting to investigate, is the land of America actually Egypt? Because the rivers seem to line up with the scriptures. If you want to start investigating something that is mind-blowing, go type in America is Egypt. Check out episode 3 and 4. I've watched 3, 4, and 9 and 10. There are a lot of episodes where it's kind of boring, or you start to wonder, is this guy going to get to the punchline? Come on, let's, you feel like your time's being wasted, but he does have some incredible knowledge. Now, what I learned a long time ago, about 4 years ago, I stumbled upon a video that blew my mind. The pyramids, they can prove, were constructed from concrete, a concrete formula. I thought, wow, the ancient Egyptians figured out a concrete formula. But see, I was too naive to understand that maybe in the early 1800s, around 1,000 loyal Freemasons all got together and created these crappy, ugly pyramids and started renaming locations to deceive the world on where the real Egypt is actually at. If you type this in, pyramids, concrete, and then scroll down, you're going to have to scroll down a little ways. Right here it is. The pyramids are made from concrete. Best documentary. It's an hour and 14 minutes long. This is the one that they show statues that are hollow, that are falling apart, and I'm sitting there like, dude, they are deceiving the world. These ugly, crappy pyramids were most likely constructed in the early 1800s. Now, the reason why I'm so fascinated or interested in this topic is because the scriptures say that the land of Israel is a land that flows like milk and honey. And the Israel that we all believe to be true is not that land. It does not line up with the scriptures. How many of you remember Joseph's brothers came down to Egypt because they needed grain? And it's obvious that Egypt was a land that could produce a lot of products, a lot of fruits and vegetables. They were able to produce more than enough. And the land that I see that they're calling Egypt is not what the scriptures portray about that region or area. So definitely go check this out, because this is why it's so important. If you can truly figure out if this land that is renamed the USA is actually Egypt, then you can prove that the real Israel would be in this landmass, this large landmass. The real Egypt and the real Jerusalem would have to be in this area somewhere. And what a coincidence that right in the middle of Jerusalem, see this word right here, Jerusalem, right in the middle you have USA. USA. They may have renamed this land of Egypt the United States of America to get that USA, kind of like an inside knowledge among all the Club 33 people. And they put their pyramid on the dollar that they're calling America, which could actually be Egypt. And something else that's interesting, the city called Memphis, that's right along the river that seems to line up with the scriptures, they have a big pyramid in that city. I would definitely, if I was some of you, do a thorough investigation, and if you can prove that this is actually the true land of Egypt, that means Mary, Joseph, and baby Yeshua fled from the territory of Israel down to Egypt. They would have blended in with their skin color. They were black people. And their land would have to be somewhere on this continent that is renamed USA. So definitely check that out. And just remember, every time you see the Washington, D.C. Capitol building, you are looking at a millennial reign of Christ masterpiece. This building is immaculate and beautiful. This was constructed in the millennial reign, and then the devil and his Club 33 scumbags put their little pagan statue on top of it. They love to contaminate the millennial reign buildings. But anyway, if anyone has any good words of wisdom or knowledge, anything to add to the video to help us out, figure out where the real Jerusalem is actually at. How many of you think that would be amazing if you were the devil and you wanted to utterly disrespect the Savior of the world? Imagine Las Vegas is nicknamed Sin City. It's a city that is like no other. It has every pagan statue or idol in the entire world. Millions of people flood to this city every year. Wouldn't that be so amazing if you found out that the real Jerusalem used to sit right there? The Savior of the world shed his blood for the sins of the world, and the devil put Sin City right on top of it as, utter disrespect. So wherever the real Jerusalem is at, because you would have to do some kind of incredible investigation. You have to find the real Mount of Olives that's already split in half, because the pictures they show of the Mount of Olives in the land of Israel, it looks like a joke. It's a hill that I could hit a golf ball over. It's a complete joke. I think the reason why they have to hide the real Israel and real Jerusalem is because the Mount of Olives would already be split in half. The scriptures say a great divided area. So somewhere in here is a real Jerusalem. I wish you all the best of luck. Something else to think about with the mud flood, the most logical theory. Imagine Yeshua the Christ and 100 million, 200 million people all ascend to the heaven. They leave this earth. You have all these empty towns. There's very few people. The King of Heaven, he curses those left here because of their disobedience, or they were not interested in traveling to Jerusalem annually to show their honor or respect to the king. So they all got to experience a horrible curse, which explains these black mud floods that just flowed into all these towns and just caused all kinds of havoc and problems. So that could be a logical explanation for the mud floods. It was a curse. If anyone has any good theories or any ideas or something creative about this whole generation that we're living in, definitely leave a comment under the video.